Hi, welcome back to the Straw Hat Duo. My name is Charlie, and today we're going over chapter 1089 of One Piece. Wow, we're almost 1090. And after that, next milestone is going to be 1100. In this chapter, we finally get to see the Straw Hats again. But not till the very last page. Oda put a little note in this one. This one, he's apologizing for the sporadic release schedule. But hey, the Netflix show is right around the corner, and the Universal Ice show is coming too. Name of this chapter is Under Siege, and the cover page story is a cow taking Nami milk. Cow serves Nami a late night mug of warm milk while she works on her sea charts. So she's working on her sea charts, and a cow brings her a cup of milk with a note from Sanji, and Sanji's out in the back through the window behind her. And the note says, "The stars outside shine almost as beautifully as you, Nami-san. Would you like to come watch them with me? Sanji." And then Nami writes back, "Thanks, but I saw them earlier, Nami." Talk about a cold rejection. We start off this chapter pretty much how we start off the beginning of the series. We're in Fuchsia Village, and the citizens are talking about Garp. This part's different. Just where we start is the same. We see Whoop Slap talking to their Makino. They're reading the paper, pretty much talking about Garp, and I guess Luffy's in the paper as well. The kid starts to laugh. Whoop Slap turns around with his short temper, starts yelling, and goes, "Sorry, I didn't realize it was you." It is Makino's kid. Makino picks up the baby and says, "I guess we're all a little on edge over Garp's son." The baby's even starting to recognize Luffy's face from all the photos. "You really love seeing Big Bro Luffy, don't you?" And the baby laughs. And then we see Dadan, and she's like, "Garp, Luffy, what are you doing?" Little side note. I don't think it means anything, but it is interesting that Makino called Luffy Big Bro Luffy to the baby. Obviously, there's no relationship there, but I was thinking maybe the fact that there was always a little seed of Ace having a crush on Makino in flashbacks. Wouldn't it be ironic if that was Ace's baby? He went back before everything happened, because he did go back and meet up with Luffy at one point too. So he had no issue backtracking a little bit. Just a little food for thought, interesting theory that I thought about. Then we cut around to all the four blues, east, west, north, and south. In the east, everybody feels an earthquake all around. Like it's a worldwide earthquake, and nobody could determine the epicenter of it. There's even a tsunami that was caused by it. And we see Laboon in the Grand Line, Iceberg, submarines, and also Momonosuke and Wano. And all of them also felt the earthquake, but they didn't know that, Leloucia was erased from the map only 6 days previous. And then we cut over to Eam, who appears to be on a boat, actually, sailing. Eam is out, but, every time I see Eam, I see these little lines drawn around him, or whatever it is. And all it makes me think of is how a chihuahua is always shaking. That's how I picture Eam being drawn. Makes it a little less intimidating, that's for sure. Anyways, so Eam sailed out to where the Leloucia Kingdom was. And there's just a massive hole. And it's just nothing. Say there's no trace of it left, just a massive hole. It's like a circular waterfall in the middle of the sea, and they can't get any closer, but it doesn't look like the hole will collapse in on itself. This was made by the Mother Flame. I'm thinking the one over Enies Lobby one was probably made by an ancient weapon. I'm thinking, or the hole of Enies Lobby, pretty much that hole was made by a previous ancient weapon. It also goes on to state here that the ensuing earthquakes caused the global sea level to rise by approximately 1 meter, which that's interesting, especially since we've known of other countries that, like Water 7, Sea level is consistently rising there, so they have to keep building up. Wano, the island is quite high, but the sea level has risen there. There's plenty of other islands that may have been much bigger before the Enies Lobby hole was made. But then we cut over to Kambabaka Queendom, and they're going like, what happened to many of the world's shores were lost beneath the waves. They're complaining about how they can't run on the beach anymore. Also, some islands were submerged entirely. So this erased more than just Lelucia off the map. This erased multiple islands just gone because they're flooded. Then we cut back over to Fuchsia Village, and we hear some people going, oh, well, I'll go fishing. I'm sure I'll get a big catch on a day like today. Cut over to Egghead Island. Finally back to Egghead Island. This is the first, well, not the first technically. First we've seen of it since the very last page of the last chapter. But first we've gotten more in depth with it in, I think, 9 chapters. Some of the Navy ships around there, it seems, say the sea levels have risen around the world. And somebody answers, yes, sir, we're at a loss. Narrator goes, New World, Egghead Island, the island of the future. A massive force has surrounded the island, possessing more than enough firepower to put a buster call to shame. The fleet has over 100 ships of various size and class. There are 20 great warships among them, and a total of 30,000 Marines. And we see a giant mecha beast, pretty much, one of the mechanical Sea Kings, biting one of the ships, and then we see Kizaru just blowing it up with a laser. And then we see Sentomaru call over the snail. It's like, hey, Unk, didn't I just tell you to not lay hands on the weaponized sea beasts? And he's like, they started it. This operation is being spearheaded by 9 Navy vice admirals. I'm not even going to attempt to try and name them because I won't remember any of their names. And Admiral Kizaru. And he's just sitting there eating a bowl of ramen, it looks. You aren't making this easy for me, Sentomaru. Can't you just come out and surrender? And Sentomaru's like, fat chance. We'll be ready if you try something like that again. He's like, oh, I'm absolutely terrified. His normal. Sentomaru then goes on and goes, I can't believe you're out to kill Vegapunk. His Pacifista's lasers are based off the research he did on your power. And then it has a little flashback to them all sitting around him, and he looks much younger here. He's in a tank top, looks like a hat of some sort, and he's just shooting beams up into the sky. And Sentomaru's like, I just can't believe that you're here to kill him. Kizaru's like, yeah, Sentomaru, no one can protect him from his own choice to research the Void Century. I'm just a cog in the machine. He doesn't seem upset about it. He just seems content. But then he goes on to say, anyways, this fight isn't exactly our best interest either. Everything we break is a loss to us. At this point, I think it's fair to assume that Rob Lucci and the others failed to complete their assassination mission. And Sentomaru goes, yeah, thanks to the Straw Hats. And we see inside a certain warship, I'm guessing this is probably the warship that Kizaru's on, we see one of the 5 Elder Planets, warrior god of defense science, J. Garcia Saturn. And he says, hey, make sure nobody knows I'm here. He's like, the Straw Hat Pirates storm Egghead Island to take Vegapunk hostage. This is a good article. And then he goes, so what's the reality of the situation? And this is the vice admirals he's talking to, by the way. Or one of the vice admirals is sitting there. He's probably sweating bullets right now. He's alone in the room with a Elder Star. That's like being alone in the room with one of the 5 most powerful people in the world that he knows of. He goes on and says, sir, have yet to receive any word from Cypherpole Zero on whether their mission was a success. However, we can draw our conclusions based on Sentomaru's resistance. It can safely be assumed that the Vegapunk and his 6 satellites are up in the Stratosum, along with 4 Seraphim assigned to protect them. And it seems that they've joined forces with Emperor Straw Hat and his crew of 10 members. Our advanced guard, 3 members of CP0, Rob, Lucci, Kaku, and Stussy. There's also a number of other Cypherpole agents, but it seems like they've been captured by Sentomaru and his battalion of Mark III pacifistas. But the Frontier Dome's at 100%, so they can be certain that nobody can get in and out. but they have no way of knowing what has transpired on the interior in the last day or so. Saturn goes, where have the researchers gone? He replies, they evacuated yesterday, but we have tracked and confirmed their current location. So Saturn's like, yeah, sink them immediately. We can't just get out that they got away, and we can't let them this get out that we're the ones that did this. This is Luffy that did it. St. Saturn, there's your worship, there's one more thing. The glutton jewelry Bonnie was reported to be on the island too. And Saturn goes, Kuma's daughter. Well, we no longer have use for her, but given that she's just a little girl, you can leave her be. And they say understood. That in itself is baffling to me. Her age is unknown to us, but she looks to be about the same age as Luffy, maybe a little bit older. He obviously knows more than we do, but I would like to know a little bit more about Bonnie, especially considering Saturn's just like, yeah, whatever, leave her be, let her go, when he's there to literally kill everybody else if possible. Then Kizaru is called and picked up a transmission from Egghead, and they say it appears to be a long-range call. And we see Marie Joie is where it's being called. One of the Marines like, Admiral, you have a black transponder snail on your left arm. He's like, yeah. So they start listening in on it, and we see the Room of Authority with the 4 other older planets. And over the snail, we hear, hey, this is York speaking. And the Gorosei are like, oh, it's you. York goes, you guys are so rude. Why the heck are you trying to kill me too? I went all out of my way and stuff to tell you about the Stella's betrayal. You're still here to try and kill me. The Elder Stars make a good point. They're like, yeah, you did do that, but you're also a Vegapunk. So, and York's like, if I had any interest in the Void Sentry, would I blab about it? It makes no sense. And they're like, yeah, that's true, I guess. But in any case, you've done well to survive this long. Didn't CP0 pay you a visit? What happened to the Straw Hat Pirates? And York's like, well, since I'm calling you, I'll let you take a wild guess. You do realize I have Seraphim under my control. The fact that I survived shouldn't come as a shock. She continues, anyways, what's with this fleet you have buzzing around the island? Are you trying to wage war on little old me? The Gorosei respond. They're like, actually, as a matter of fact, we've had second thoughts about this. We've had a little change of heart. Am I right in thinking that you're capable of recreating the Mother Flame? So they want another Mother Flame. Why they need multiple of these weapons? York replies, oh, you look at that, something from me. I'm glad I sent it. And then the Gorosei, indeed, this is a special request we're acting on. If that's what you want, the power station I need to make is here. And I guess in kanji that could be used as, or that could be read as fusion reactor as well. York is like, yeah, just promise me one thing. You won't lay a finger on me or my lovely lab. And the girls say like, yep, that could be done. Also, I still want to be a celestial dragon. And without a pause, they say, all right, that can be arranged. And York's like, all right, then you've got a deal. There's just one more thing I need from you. And then we get a close-up of York's face, and she's crying. And she's like, save me. Straw Hat Luffy is here, and he's going to kill me. And this shocks everybody. All the Gorosei and Kizaru, who's listening in. And Kizaru's like, what the hell? York continues on, please crush these psychos. And then we see double-page spread of most of the Straw Hats, not all of them, but most of the Straw Hats. They're just chilling. Luffy's eating. Zoro's got a sword. It looks like potentially Enma hovering over York. Nami goes, I see, everything's finally coming into focus. And Luffy's, is normal. I don't really get it. But if we could use her as a shield to get out of here, I'm good with it, right? And Bonnie's like, yeah, does that mean we're under siege? And Vegapunk's like, so that's how it is. We see Lucci and Sanji in the background. Jinbei, Frankie, and Chopper also in the background. We see Brook, Luffy, Nami, and Zoro. And Usopp is sitting there holding the Den Mushi to York's face so she can make the call out. The interesting thing here is I don't know where Robin is. This is like a playground for Robin, so she could be anywhere. That ends out this chapter. The narrator goes, the grand conspiracy has been foiled and the crew's all together. Not quite all together. I don't see Robin here. That's the end of chapter 1089, and the next chapter will be 1090. and it'll come out in 2 weeks. Whereas a break next week due to Shonen Jump being on break. So, we have plenty of time to theory craft about this. It looks like we're probably going to be going right back to the Straw Hats. I don't think we're going to jump off the Straw Hats for a little bit here. I think we're going to get a little bit of a storyline with them. We might get a flashback with Bonnie, or actually, we might get a flashback on how everything came together. We'll see where it goes, and let me know what you guys think is going to happen with York. It definitely sounds like Vegapunk's going to be sailing with the Straw Hats now, though. I don't really see much of a way around that unless he gets killed somehow by Kizuru or whatnot. So let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know where you guys think this is going, and I'll see you in the next one.